Hi everyone, welcome back to Classic Camp Crafts. I'm Miss Julia, and as you can see, we're outside today. We're going to be doing our tie-dye. So for this, you'll want to grab your bottle of dye, your plastic gloves, all 3 of your bags, and your pre-tied up bits for the tie-dye. So I have my bandana, my 2 socks, and my bag. So I'm going to move some things out of the way here so we can see a little bit better. And what we're going to be doing is first filling up our bottle with dye up to the line here. So you'll fill it all the way up to the line. And then what we're going to do is when it gets down to about here, where the top of these words are, we're going to go ahead and refill it so that we'll have some that are the darker color of whatever color you picked. Mine is brown. And then we'll also get to do some tie-dye that's pastel or a lighter version of the color that we chose. So that'll look pretty cool. I'm going to go grab some water and fill up my bottle. And I'll put on my gloves so that I don't get dye all over my hands. So I've gone ahead and filled up my bottle. You can see I filled it up here right into the line. And you can also see where there's some dye. So I want to make sure my lid is on really tight. I'm going to hold the top here and I'm going to shake it until all of the dye is dissolved. There we go. Now you can see that all of the dye is dissolved on the bottom. That's what you want. It's important to do all of your tying before you start in on your tie-dye, because once you activate your tie-dye by putting water in it, it is only good for a few hours. Otherwise it will start to not color as well anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and start on my tie-dye. So I'll start with this one. This is going to be my striped sock. So I'll carefully remove the lid from my tie-dye. And this is why you want to wear gloves. It kind of gets all over. And you can just rub the extra dye onto your fabric. And then I'm going to go in here to make all of my stripes. So you want to make sure to try to saturate it pretty well. But remember, if you don't get everything perfect, that's okay. Every bit of tie-dye is different. They all end up looking really cool and unique. And you can even poke the little nozzle down inside some of the folds, just like this, to help get the tie-dye more saturated in there. There, so that one is all done. I'm going to set it off to the side, and I think I'll go ahead and do this one next. So for this one, I want to get dye on those 4 areas here. I can even work kind of on top of one of my other pieces, so any extra dye will fall on there. Okay, so there's that one. And I'm going to do one of these with my darker color, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill it up with some water. I can even rub some of the extra dye off onto my projects here. Less on my gloves. Okay, so now you guys can see I've got a little bit less here left, so I'm going to go and fill it up the rest of the way with some more water so that you will get a lighter or a kind of a pastel color. here we go. So I emptied out my bottle of tie-dye and I have all of my pieces now. Now it's time for our bags. So you want to go ahead and put each of your pieces inside of a bag. And we're going to leave them in there for 8 to 24 hours. So it kind of takes a little while for the dye to be able to soak in. I'm going to go ahead and rinse off my gloves and rinse off the outside of my bags too, because I want to keep my gloves for when I go ahead and do the rinsing of these. So go ahead and rinse off your gloves and rinse off the bags. I'll see you in the next one where we go ahead and learn how to do the rinsing part. Bye!